Los Angeles Lakers fans, the offseason is shaping up to be one of the most dramatic chapters we've seen in years, and at the center of everything once again is LeBron James. The speculation is already heating up, and this time it is not just about whether he stays or leaves. It is about who might be waiting on the other side with open arms. There is real noise building around the idea that Stephen Curry and Draymond Green could make a serious push to bring LeBron to the Golden State Warriors once free agency opens. Think about that for a second. Two of the most iconic rivals of the past decade potentially joining forces. We watched them clash year after year on the biggest stage, from unforgettable finals battles to regular season matchups that felt like playoff previews. Now imagine those same competitors deciding that the final stretch of LeBron's career could include a run alongside the greatest shooter the game has ever seen. It sounds wild, but in today's league, we have learned never to dismiss anything too quickly. At the same time, the other storyline refuses to go away. The possibility of LeBron returning to the Cleveland Cavaliers has emotional weight that no other option can replicate. Cleveland is where he was drafted, where he delivered a historic championship, and where his legacy is deeply rooted. A farewell tour there would carry symbolism that goes beyond basketball. But when you start breaking down the financial and roster realities, things get complicated very fast. Cleveland does not have unlimited flexibility. If LeBron were to return, it would likely require a carefully structured move, potentially involving a sign and trade scenario. A name that naturally enters that discussion is Jared Allen. From a basketball perspective, the fit questions are immediate. Where does LeBron play? How do you balance the front court with Evan Mobley continuing his development? Mobley has thrived in certain lineups as a big, and shifting roles around just to accommodate a late-career superstar is not as simple as it sounds. Then there is the financial side. LeBron has made it clear in the past that taking significant pay cuts is not something he plans to repeat. A minor adjustment to help a team stay under certain thresholds is one thing. Dropping from a massive contract to something close to the minimum is something entirely different. Even at this stage of his career, he remains one of the most productive players in the league. He is still putting up elite numbers, still capable of controlling the pace of a game, and still drawing defensive attention that reshapes how opponents play. That level of impact commands serious money. And that is where the Lakers enter the picture in a very real way. If Los Angeles can present a competitive roster and a respectable offer, staying might be the most logical move. There is comfort in familiarity, especially when the path to contention is not completely closed. What if the Lakers make a deep playoff run? What if they reach the conference finals and push a contender to 6 or 7 hard-fought games? Momentum matters in the decision-making process of a player like LeBron. The Western Conference landscape is always shifting. Matchups define playoff outcomes more than regular season standings. A favorable bracket can open doors that seemed sealed just weeks earlier. If the Lakers prove they are only a move or two away from serious contention, the idea of running it back for one more year becomes far more attractive. LeBron winning another championship in purple and gold would add another powerful layer to his legacy, especially considering the pressure and expectations that come with playing in Los Angeles. Still, the Warriors' angle refuses to disappear. The idea of LeBron and Curry sharing the same locker room carries a certain fascination. They have spoken openly in the past about mutual respect. They have competed at the highest level and pushed each other to historic performances. There's a basketball purity in imagining LeBron operating as a high-level playmaker alongside Curry's off-ball movement and shooting gravity. It would force defenses into impossible choices. However, even that scenario demands sacrifice. Golden State would need flexibility, and LeBron would likely need to accept a deal that reflects both his age and the team's salary structure. The question then becomes simple but brutal. Are the Warriors clearly better than the Lakers in the short term? If the answer is not a confident yes, then why uproot everything for a lateral move? Retirement whispers have surfaced, but they feel premature. Walking away without a farewell season would leave too much on the table, both financially and emotionally. LeBron understands the business of basketball as well as anyone. A final run, wherever it happens, would be an event across the entire league. Arenas would sell out. Tributes would pour in. The narrative would follow him every night. That kind of stage is difficult to abandon quietly. There is also the possibility that he simply waits. LeBron has earned the right to be patient. He can evaluate how the playoffs unfold, how Cleveland performs, how the Lakers adjust their roster, and how serious the Warriors truly are. The offseason in the National Basketball Association is rarely about one single factor. It is about leverage, timing, and opportunity aligning at the right moment. For now, everything remains open. The Lakers could strengthen their roster and make the decision easy. Cleveland could fall short or rise to the occasion and complicate the emotional pull. Golden State could create the financial pathway that turns fantasy into reality. Through it all, one truth stands firm. As long as LeBron James is still performing at an elite level, the league will orbit around his next move, and every franchise with even the slightest opening will at least consider what it would mean to add his name to their jersey. When you really slow down and analyze the situation, the biggest variable in all of this is not emotion, not legacy, and not even money. It is competitiveness. LeBron James has built his entire career on putting himself in positions to contend for championships. Every major move he has made, from leaving his hometown to returning to it, from heading west to joining the purple and gold, has revolved around one central question. Can this team realistically win it all? That is why the playoff performance of the Cleveland Cavaliers matters so much. If Cleveland makes a deep run, pushes through the Eastern Conference, or even reaches the finals, the internal debate becomes fascinating. Do you disrupt a roster that has clearly found chemistry just to reinsert a legend at the tail end of his career? Even if that legend is the greatest player in franchise history, front offices have to think long-term. The development of young stars, the financial flexibility, and a locker room balance all factor into that decision. There's also the reality that at this stage, LeBron is no longer the relentless downhill force who could dominate every possession for 40 minutes. He is still elite, still capable of taking over games, but you can see the natural evolution. There are nights when he conserves energy, when he picks his spots more carefully. The explosiveness is selective now, not constant. That does not diminish his greatness, but it does introduce risk for teams that would need to restructure their roster around him. If Cleveland believes that continuity gives them the best chance at sustained success, they may hesitate to make a dramatic move. And that opens the door wider for the Los Angeles Lakers to retain him. Because for all the speculation about outside destinations, Los Angeles still controls a significant part of the narrative. They understand his value on and off the court. They know what another title would mean for the franchise and for his legacy in the city. Imagine a scenario where the Lakers fall just short this season, perhaps losing a tightly contested series in the conference finals. That kind of defeat does not signal failure. It signals proximity. It tells a veteran like LeBron that with the right adjustments, with the right complementary pieces, the mountain is still climbable. In that case, taking a reasonable contract to give it one more serious push starts to feel logical rather than sentimental. Now shift the focus back to the Golden State Warriors. The intrigue there is undeniable. Pairing LeBron with Stephen Curry would instantly create one of the most intelligent offensive duos the league has ever seen. Curry's gravity would open driving lanes. LeBron's playmaking would generate clean looks. The basketball IQ between them would be off the charts. But the margin for error would be thin. At that point, the expectation would not just be to compete. It would be to win immediately. And that pressure matters. Because if LeBron joins Golden State and they fall short, the narrative flips quickly. Instead of celebrating the union of legends, critics would question the gamble. That is part of what makes this decision so complex. Every option carries opportunity, but every option also carries risk. There are even whispers about unexpected destinations. The league is full of young teams with cap space and ambition. A franchise on the rise could convince itself that adding a veteran champion accelerates the timeline. But LeBron has never chased random situations. He values infrastructure, coaching stability, and a roster that complements his skill set. Walking into a rebuilding project would contradict everything he has done over the past decade. Another layer to consider is legacy arithmetic. Winning another championship with the Lakers would strengthen his argument as the ultimate franchise transformer. Returning to Cleveland and delivering one more title would be storybook material, almost mythic in its symbolism. Joining the Warriors and capturing a ring there would redefine rivalries and reshape how this era is remembered. Each path offers a different kind of historical imprint. Financial reality still lingers in the background. While he may not command the maximum figures of his prime, LeBron is unlikely to accept a dramatic discount. Teams operating under strict salary structures must weigh how much flexibility they are willing to sacrifice. In today's collective bargaining environment, one contract can dictate an entire roster ceiling. That makes negotiations delicate. At the same time, LeBron understands leverage better than anyone. By remaining patient, by allowing the playoffs and off-season dominoes to fall, he keeps every team guessing. The longer uncertainty lingers, the more pressure builds on front offices to present compelling cases. He does not need to rush. Time, in this instance, works in his favor. For Lakers fans, the hope is simple. Show enough this season to prove that contention is realistic. Demonstrate growth, resilience, and adaptability. Convince your superstar that the window is still open. Because if Los Angeles can combine competitive promise with a respectful contract, the safest prediction might be that LeBron stays right where he is. But nothing about this saga feels guaranteed. The emotional pull of Cleveland, the competitive curiosity of Golden State, the pride of finishing what he started in Los Angeles, all of it swirls together. As the postseason approaches and the intensity rises, every game adds context to what could become one of the defining decisions of the modern era. And until that choice is made, the entire league will keep watching, analyzing every comment, every gesture, every subtle hint, knowing that wherever LeBron James decides to write his next chapter, it will instantly shift the balance of power in the National Basketball Association. Yet retirement feels unlikely in this moment. Walking away abruptly would leave too many unfinished chapters. There is still a competitive fire visible in his game. There is still the pursuit of milestones, of playoff battles, of one more defining run. The farewell tour concept suggests he understands the end is approaching, but it also implies he wants to savor it rather than disappear quietly. And that is what makes this offseason so fascinating. It is not just about contracts or cap sheets. It is about identity, ambition, and the final imprint of a generational superstar. Every whisper, every rumor, every strategic move from now until free agency will carry amplified meaning, because when LeBron James makes a decision, the entire league feels the impact immediately. Before we continue, we ask that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Lakers updates. Moving on, in what could be one of the most shocking moves in recent NBA history, whispers around the league suggest that Jason Tatum, the cornerstone of the Boston Celtics, is on the verge of a blockbuster switch to the Los Angeles Lakers. Sources close to the matter indicate that negotiations have accelerated in secret, sparking outrage among Celtics fans who feel betrayed by the star forward's potential departure. Tatum, widely celebrated for his scoring prowess, clutch performances, and leadership on the floor, has been a central figure in Boston's recent campaigns. The idea of him donning the purple and gold of the Lakers has sent shockwaves not only through Boston but across the entire league, igniting a social media frenzy filled with disbelief, anger, and speculation. While nothing has been officially confirmed, insiders suggest that the Lakers' front office is determined to reshape their roster into a championship-caliber squad, and Tatum is being eyed as the linchpin of this ambitious project. The reaction in Boston has been immediate and intense. Fans have flooded online platforms, expressing a mix of sorrow and outrage at the notion that a player so emblematic of the city's basketball identity could abandon the franchise. Local commentators are describing it as a historic betrayal, emphasizing the emotional weight this potential move carries, especially given Tatum's deep ties to the Celtics core and the city itself. Meanwhile, Lakers supporters are cautiously optimistic, envisioning how Tatum's scoring ability and versatility could integrate with their existing stars and significantly elevate the team's championship aspirations. Speculation is mounting around the details of the deal. Rumors point to intricate trade packages involving multiple players and draft picks, highlighting the high stakes involved. Some analysts argue that this move, if it materializes, could redefine the balance of power in the NBA, while others warn that such a high-profile acquisition comes with immense pressure and expectations. Regardless of the outcome, this brewing saga has already captured the imagination of basketball fans worldwide. The Celtics are facing the very real prospect of losing a player who has been their symbol of hope and competitiveness, while the Lakers could be on the cusp of a seismic roster transformation. For now, the basketball world watches in suspense as whispers of this historic betrayal continue to dominate headlines and fan discussions alike. Stay informed exclusively about Los Angeles Lakers news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep receiving daily updates. Also, share your opinion on the news in the comments, as your contribution is crucial for the Lakers. Stay tuned for the next video.